Primary sources. Philippines asks United States to not take it over. Editor's note. In 1898, Spain and the United States fought a brief war. This conflict is known as the Spanish-American War. When it was over, the two sides signed a peace treaty called the Treaty of Paris because negotiations took place in that city. Under the terms of the treaty, Spain gave its long-standing colony of the Philippines to the United States. On February 4, 1899, just 2 days before the U.S. Senate approved the treaty, fighting broke out between American forces and Filipino nationalists who wanted independence rather than a change in colonial rulers. Nationalist forces were led by Emilio Aguinaldo. The Philippine-American War lasted 3 years. It resulted in the deaths of more than 4,200 Americans and more than 20,000 Filipino combatants. As many as 250,000 Filipino civilians died from violence, famine, and disease. Before the war began, there was much debate within the United States over the idea of annexing the Philippines. Some felt the United States had no right to take over another country. Those who did support annexation had a variety of reasons. Some hoped to find commercial opportunities in Asia. Others were concerned that the Filipinos would be unable to rule themselves. Yet, others feared that if the United States did not take control of the islands, another power, such as Germany or Japan, might do so. While Americans debated the annexation question, Filipino revolutionaries under Aguinaldo seized control of most of the Philippines' main island of Luzon. They then proclaimed the establishment of the independent Philippine Republic. When it became clear that U.S. forces were intent on establishing American colonial control over the islands, clashes between the two sides swelled into an all-out war. The following article was published in the New York Times on December 25, 1898, under the title, Plea of the Filipinos. Full text of the protest against our taking the island. Aguinaldo raises an issue. Full text of the protest. Paris, December 16th. The following is the full text of the protest lodged with the American and Spanish Peace Commissions. It was submitted by Felipe Aguinaldo, the agent of Aguinaldo, the Filipino rebel leader. Paris, 12th of December, 1898. To their excellencies, the President and delegates of the Spanish-American Peace Commission. Paris. Your Excellencies, General Aguinaldo, President of the Philippine Republic, and his government have honored me with the post of the official representative to the President and government of the United States of America. My appointment has given me the duty of protesting any and all resolutions passed by the Peace Commission in Paris that are contrary to the independence of the Philippines. The Commission has already ended its sessions. Those resolutions it has passed cannot be accepted by my government. The Commission has not heard from the Philippine nation, which has the absolute right to be heard in relation to anything that might affect its future. I, therefore, protest any resolution agreed upon at the Peace Conference in Paris as long as the political independence of the Filipino people is entirely unrecognized. I must reject all attempts to force on the people of the Philippines any resolutions that have not been approved by them. They are the only ones who can legally decide as to their future in history. The Union of Spain and the Philippines. Spain has absolutely no right to decide what the future of the Philippines will be. The Union of Spain and the Philippines was founded solely on two documents in which the right of the Filipinos to decide their own destiny was recognized. The first was the Bloody Treaty, Pacto de Sangre, of the 12th of March, 1565. This treaty was entered into because General Don Miguel Lopez de Legazpi and the Filipino ruler Si Catuma. It was confirmed on the one side by the King of Spain, Philip II, and on the other side by the monarchs of Mindanao, Visayas, and Luzon, and by the supreme chief of that confederation, the Sultan Lucandola. The treaty established the self-governing character of the Philippines, then known as the Kingdom of New Castile. under the authority of the King of Spain. The second document tying Spain to the Philippines was the so-called Constitution of Cadiz of 1812. This short-lived Spanish constitution covered not only Spain, but all those territories that made up the Spanish Empire. It was written with the active participation of deputies of the Filipino people. It declared the Spains to be a single nation. But from the very first moment in which the Spanish attempted to force their absolute control on the islands, the Filipinos protested energetically by force of arms. Spain's first attempt came in 1814 after the Constitution of Cadiz was overthrown. At that moment, the struggle to defend Filipino political independence was born.